Cooligans. In the first segment, we're talking about our NWSL time. We went to our first game. Stop yelling at us.
we did it.
And we're going to keep going to more. So we had a great time over at Sky Blue. We talk about some of the more MLS policies that we're not huge fans of. Also, we talk about Alexis's feet.
Yeah. Oh, you've always waited for this one.
You know, that's why you listen to this show.
In the second segment, we wash our mouths out after talking about my feet. We also talk to Benny Feilhaber.
Yo, Sporting Kansas City.
The most important thing on his resume is that he's now one of the co-hosts of BS the Podcast, which is great. But also, if you've been anywhere a fan of this league, he's probably played for your team. Absolutely amazing. Golazo against Mexico. And now, top of his career is going to be the fact that he's on our show. Benny Feilhaber, and a little more. That and more on this episode of the Cooligans!
Hi, I'm John Strong. I'm the large bald man who stands next to Stu Holden when you watch soccer on Fox Sports. You are listening to the Cooligans.
Yeah, baby!
Yes! Let's go!
Woo!
Let's get the energy nice and high to an empty room.
Yeah, what do you mean empty? Look at all these people going nuts. Sir, put your pants on. Ma'am, top back on, please. What are we doing?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Cooligans. The Cooligans podcast.
That's all right. Yes.
That's what it's called. I'm telling Alexis, sometimes he forgets.
Oh, what are we doing again? Yeah, baby. I mean, it's been, wow, what a week. We've got a lot going on. How have you been?
I've been well.
I like the shirt you're wearing. What is this? This is a funky shirt. It's a Polaroid.
Shirt. It says Polaroid on it. This was a birthday present from my girlfriend's sister.
Oh, very nice.
She got me like three of them. One says Kodak, one says Polaroid. Just an omen of things that will become obsolete.
Yeah, you know? Just all failed businesses. That's cool. Love that Enron hat you're wearing.
This will never go bad.
Yeah, you kidding me? Good investment, baby.
Welcome to the show. Like we said, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
All right, we are your favorite stand-up comedians that host the funniest soccer podcast that you have ever listened to.
That's right, Sprat. You know who we are? Because it's not just that.
Yes, we are Sprat.
That's right. We happen to be that as well. And that is just code for us being also the gulliest podcast.
That is correct.
You've ever heard.
Exactly. So you every day, week after week, we're getting more people being like, what's this gully stuff? What's going on? I don't know.
And then they listen to us for 10 minutes. They're like, oh, I get it.
Oh, I get it. All right.
Oh, it's in me. I need to go to a doctor. Speaking of doctors, nearly ruined my foot.
That's right. We should recap, because some people who follow you on social media will follow along with your issues, your ailments.
Right. One of our fans messaged me, post a picture of the bottom of your foot. The more gruesome, the better. Oh, and I'm like, even if I didn't step on a piece of crystal, it'd be a pretty gruesome picture on its own.
I don't know about that. Every time anybody requests pictures of feet, I'm like, yo, what are you going to use this for?
What exactly? Which folder is this going to be put into?
Okay, because is this going to be on your desktop? I don't know about that.
Is this going to be on something called work documents? So your significant other don't find it? You don't need to look in there. That's just work documents.
I was just on Instagram.
Where are you?
I don't know if you ever heard of it. I was on there.
You sound like you were invited on Instagram.
I was, watching stories, and Indy Cowie's stories came up. Right?
That's right.
And I'm watching. She's doing like a Q&A, and fans are asking her questions. And I don't know why she chose to respond to this one, but Indy Cowie's like a family friendly freestyler, right?
She's great.
She's a great
good
person.
For all the kids, adults. Everybody.
All the sponsors that will work with her do not want to work with us.
No, they've almost explicitly said, please don't go on their show.
Almost. But one of the questions she answered was somebody asking, can you send me a picture of your foot? And when you ask a woman to send you a picture of their foot, there's nothing innocent happening.
You're not masking what's about to happen.
No.
If you do get it.
We know exactly the type of person you are.
Is that all they said? Was just like, oh, we had a question in the front row. Mike goes, send me a picture of your foot. Like, is that really?
That was it. That was that was like, the
like
Q&A,
an
AMA in Instagram. Yeah. I'm like, yo, the nerve.
You could go past it.
The nerve of this person to speak to sweet angel Indy that way.
Right.
How dare you? But I guess, look, some of the people.
What did she say?
She said no, politely.
Obviously.
She said no in her polite
In a very
way.
Andy Cowie way.
Which there's no way that's how she would normally respond to.
She really is.
If some dude walked up to her and was like, yo, send me pictures of your feet, she would kick a soccer ball to their damn head.
She would take one of their balls and stop it on the bottom of her foot after keep you up.
Yeah,
it.
exactly. A testicle stall. That's what it's called.
Bang. And the guy's like, that's impressive. He's still impressed because it is. She's good at what she does.
So the disrespect that women have to deal with is wild. And you.
And by the way, it was a woman who asked.
Look at this.
It goes both ways.
You're creeps, ladies. All of you.
We on to you.
Anyway, yes. So we did have outside of how are you feeling?
So
by the way?
last episode, I had a crystal in my foot the entire time.
Yeah, we didn't know this. So you stepped on a healing crystal.
My wife has these crystals that she believes in more than our marriage.
He married a shaman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So she comes back from Machu Picchu once every 6 months. No, there's these crystals that her friends and her get, and this one is.
They trade them like Pokemon cards.
Yeah, really. They're Pongs at this point.
Pongs or Pogs?
I don't remember what they were.
Yeah, Pong.
I don't know. You knew I didn't play with that. So. Whatchamacallit? There's one that it's like a very brittle stone, right?
Yes.
It's on purpose. And apparently it's from Brazil, like our guest.
Yeah.
And it wasn't clean on the way here, like our guest.
Exactly. He was just training.
Damn near got a spit take.
Yeah, yes.
I waited for you to take the sip to say. So it's it hasn't been sealed. Apparently these stones get sealed.
Okay.
This one was not. Okay. So then it shattered, I think. I think she might have dropped it or a piece broke off of it, which tends to happen on this type of stone. It's a black something. I forget what it is.
Well, let's not get race involved. It's just I don't know what kind of crystal it was.
Sorry, it's a Brazilian American stone. No, it's a black termite or something like that. I don't know the name of it, right?
Okay.
So people are impressed. I took the photo. People are like, oh, that's very expensive. I don't need to know about this. It's in my foot. So I must have stepped on a piece of it in my heel. And I thought I stepped on a piece of plastic or a hard crumb or something. Mm-hmm. So I brushed the bottom of my foot, didn't feel anything, walked around. I was fine. I go to the podcast. I have shows and stuff after this. I go home. I edit the podcast. My wife's not having a great day. And I thought, here's what'll cheer her up. I'll show her the bottom of my foot. I said,
cheers, everybody. All the kids.
Right? Just like that lady on Instagram.
Yeah, hit at parties. Everybody loves it.
Hey, you kids want to cheer up a little bit? Take a look at this ugly thing. So I go, hey, babe, is there something on the bottom of my foot? It felt like I had a paper cut at certain points of the day. Showed it to her. She goes, oh, my God, there's a piece of crystal in your foot. So she takes it out. As she took it out, because it's supposed to shatter.
I'm curious. Are you able to see the bottom of your own foot?
Yes.
You can? Okay.
But I didn't see anything.
How flexible you were exactly.
I'm flexible enough to see the bottom of my own foot, but I couldn't because of it was kind of dug under the skin a little bit.
Okay.
So it was almost like a splinter. Right? I couldn't really see it from the angle I was looking at it. I'm not so flexible that I could just flip my foot around, you know what I mean, in multiple directions. I got one. It's look behind me, So she goes, oh, there's a piece of crystal. Takes it out with tweezers. And she's like, oh, it shattered a little bit, splintered off a little bit.
Yeah.
And now there's other pieces in your foot. She tried to get it. At this point now, I have a undershirt wrapped in my mouth screaming. I'm trying to bite down on this thing. And she's like, it can't be that painful. I'm like, you have no idea the pain I'm in right now. So she goes, yeah, I can't do this anymore. You need to go to the urgent care center. You know those little corner city MDs they have in the city? They're these mini storefront hospital kind of thingies. I went into that. Doctor from Latvia. No emotion in this woman. Okay. None whatsoever.
So, Kristaps Porzingis' mom.
I said to her, I go, oh, Kristaps Porzingis. She looked at me. She goes, he plays basketball. I go, yeah. And she goes, I am doctor. I'm like, okay. All right, off to a good start. I show her the bottom of my foot. She goes, yes, I can see it. Okay. She has 6 different pliers. She tries to go through all of them. None of them are small enough to get these small shards out of my foot.
When you went to mechanic or a doctor? What is this?
First of all, she has me bend my foot so she could she's on the floor. I'm like, there's not a bed we can use here where I could hold my foot up something. No, it's like a chair. This is the worst. I don't know why I walked into this place. She goes and gets 2 needles and starts like she's tossing a salad out of my foot. She's just jamming these 2 needles in there. I'm like, I'm screaming in pain. I'm like, this can't be You didn't go through training in Latvia for this. Did you work on horses before this? I am screaming. One of the nurses got so dizzy, she almost collapsed. As I left, she was like, I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. I made a woman quit her job with the bottom of my foot. Bleeding everywhere, by the way.
Did she quit her job or just left for the day?
No, she quit.
She quit.
She quit on the spot.
Your foot was all she could handle.
My foot changed the course of a woman's life forever, right? She legitimately was like, I'm going back to school for something else. She was like, I said, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. She legitimately quit. So the woman's like, well, you're in a lot of pain. And I said, yeah, that's why I'm like crying and screaming and going nuts. I felt like I was getting tortured. She goes, well, why don't I numb it? I'm like, you didn't think of this before?
Nice.
She goes and gets lidocaine. Not enough.
Latvians don't believe in numbing.
Like pain.
You want to feel everything.
Yeah, no. How do you know you're alive unless you feel pain? So she goes and gets the lidocaine, doesn't put it on the hole because then she can't clean it out. She puts it around it, clearly not working. I'm still in pain. She then injects me in the bottom of the foot. In the bottom, you don't inject people in the bottom of the foot. Super painful. I've got bruises all over the bottom of my feet. She injects me with lidocaine. Not enough. I say, that's it. I'm out of here. And she goes, well, it's a foreign body. You need to get it out. I almost been like, you're a foreign body. You don't need to get out. I almost done that. Right? I just didn't know what to say.
Just put your MAGA hat on all of a sudden.
I was in so much pain. And she goes, well, you have to go stop by the front desk for the copay. I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm definitely going to give you a copay. How much is the copay to be tortured? Not paying it. Somebody tried to stop me on the way. They're like, sir, you can't leave. I dare you to try to stop me. I got in an Uber, went to the closest podiatrist, took one look at the bottom of my foot. He quit. No, I'm joking. He goes, what did they do to you? And I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, somebody chopped you up a little bit under here. He goes, did they inject you at the bottom of the foot? You're not supposed to inject the bottom of the feet. I'm like, thank you. He's like, that's like stepping on a tack. I'm like, that's what I said. So he was like, yeah, I can have this done for you in 5 minutes. He goes, but you really don't need to remove it. People walk around with stuff in their body all the time. He's like, like bullets. What kind of mafia podiatrist did I walk into where your first reference is bullets?
He took one look at you and he's like, he probably got a couple bullets inside him, couple shells.
This dude took a shot or two and kept it moving. So, he freezes. He used a magic spray that you use on players.
Okay.
Frees the side of my foot, jams me with a needle, didn't feel a thing, injects me with a ton of lidocaine, comes back in 5 minutes, ketchup stain on his white jacket. What was he doing? Eating a sandwich, french fries. He comes back, starts scraping that whole area of skin out. I have a hole in the bottom of my foot. Like I got a divot. In the bottom of my foot.
Like Yankee Stadium. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The grounds crew came in. And now I've been walking around on these healing kind of pad kind of thing where you don't really feel like you're stepping on your foot, but it feels like I'm walking. It's pretty painful. I bled out 2 of my shoes. I went home. I went and got my hair cut. I went home and Dee was like, there's blood everywhere. I'm like, huh? I'm like eating a sandwich. And I look over. There's just blood all over the floor. I look at the bottom of my foot. My entire sock is filled with blood. Like wet blood, not dry blood. Like there's just blood gushing out of my foot.
Kurt Schilling, you're a hero.
Somebody said, that looks like a pepperoni slice. The blood. It was hilarious.
Okay.
So ruined 2 pairs of sneakers.
I hope you're doing better. That was a lot.
That was a lot. Guys, don't get healing crystals. I remember I said, who cares if she believes in crystals as long as it's not hurting anybody? Well, we've breached that wall, folks.
It's like having a gun in your household. You know, you're more likely to be hurt on your own.
I think we need to deal with some crystal control. Where do we stand on that, politicians?
So, okay. Well, I'm glad you're on the mend. Okay, so let's start the show how we always do. We show love to the people who show love to us. So thank you for leaving iTunes reviews and helping us get to that elusive 600th
We're at 553.
553. So we could use a little bit more. That'd be nice.
I can't wait to get to 600 because then what starts, right? We beg for 700, baby.
It's a very important time in the Cooligans history, begging for that 700. It's really where the real podcasts separate themselves.
Right. Where were you when they begged for 100?
But the 700 mark is very, very important. So we have a review. This is from our homie Luke Sturgio.
Yeah, I saw this. This is great.
So Luke, he is a photographer. Mm-hmm. Great dude. We met him at MLS All Star.
That's right.
And he covers. I know he takes a lot of the New England Revolution.
The Revolution
game. So he's I think the only photographer on hand for those because there's not a lot of media requests for New England Revolution games.
That media, the press box was pretty empty.
But
Me, you, and Sam Stay School.
There's a couple people there, but anyway, so. Luke says, is this Gully enough? And 5 stars. So thank you, Luke. He goes, so I already wrote a review a while ago, and now I'm writing another one because it was mediocre at best, and I didn't realize my gulliness at the time. So on a scale of 1 to Alexis ranting, how Gully does this review rank? But in all seriousness, you guys are the absolute best. You have supported me throughout my career so much, as I've done for you both as well. You make my travels to Photograph Revolution games and other games across New England very enjoyable. Although the podcast does not have enough New England soccer. He says, so 1, fix that, my guy. And he goes, 2, look, and this is a bold move. He goes, have me on the show so I can talk about how underrated New England soccer is. Is that too gully? I don't know for sure. But shouts to you guys for making me more self-aware of my gulliness. Hashtag self-aware Gully Squad.
Self-aware Gully Squad. Shouts to you. We got Gully adjacent.
And
now we got some self-aware Gully.
This is nice. I feel like our the gulliness is sort of getting around.
Right, there's tentacles.
Tentacles, right? And it's making people realize how gully they are, like in therapy. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, you know what? I am.
My brain blocked out that gully. I didn't know. I forgot it happened.
It must have been that childhood trauma.
Yeah, my gulliness was repressed.
We got to not repress it anymore, guys. That's why that's very, very important. So Luke, thank you for that, man. We appreciate you, and keep up the great work. He does great photos.
I just want to read a quick one from Beans and Cheese.
Okay.
Or Beans and Cheese. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the title is just a thumbs up emoji. 5 stars. Shouts to you. And they put the only podcast I can tolerate. Well, all right. Shouts to us.
All right. That's saying a lot. There's a lot of podcasts.
There's a lot. We're the only ones they can tolerate.
Not even enjoy.
No.
Tolerate.
They would not go that far.
But imagine how much they must despise other podcasts. They can't even.
The other one's like, I got to shut this off. But these guys are like, at least I can keep it on.
Exactly. The other podcasts are physically hurting.
Yeah, no. I mean, I got to park the car. I got to figure out, redo the Bluetooth.
Exactly. I got indigestion just listening to these other podcasts. So thank you, Beans and Cheese.
Beans and Cheese.
For the review. So we appreciate it. And help us get
also quite regular, right? The cheese constipates you, but the beans comes in and is like, yo, I got your back.
Won't they make it worse?
No, the beans makes you poop. The cheese constipates you.
Got it. Look at that. Yeah. Don't they cancel each other out?
That's what I'm saying. Keeps them regular.
All of a sudden, you eat a bunch of beans and cheese, and you're healthy. All of a sudden,
you good. It's like a salad.
I learned it at City MD. Right?
Yeah. This Latvian woman told me about it.
She could never be wrong. All right, so let's talk about our weekend, because we did get to finally go to our first NWSL match.
You hear it, Cloud9? We did it.
Okay, stop yelling at us. All right, stop accosting us in the middle of the street.
Cloud9 members were listening to other podcasts and yelling at us about that. Like I did Irene Morales' podcast, Advice from Nana, right? Or some Nana. Nana's in the title. And one of her fans, Elizabeth, who we met, is also a Sky Blue fan, and DMs me, just heard your podcast with Irene. Are you really a soccer fan? And I was like, well, yeah, of course, right? I go to NYCFC games. I'm a huge Arsenal fan, yada, yada, yada. And she goes, have you been to your local NWSL Sky Blue game?
Boom.
And I said, no. And she goes, well, then are you really a soccer fan? You need to go. Legit, I got pressed.
Yeah, that's right.
On Instagram DM. So far you're keeping track.
And then she was like, send me a picture of your feet.
That's the two things that have happened to me on DM. Yo, send me a gruesome picture of your foot. And yo, you better go to a women's soccer game.
Why are you, packaging those questions together? Seems very odd. It seems counterproductive to your message.
Let me respond to one of them and then hit me with the other one.
All right? You gotta, get me in the mood first.
But did you copy and paste this? Is this what you sent everybody?
So, yes, but we did get to go. So Sky Blue FC took on against Rain FC. And
9,400 fans. They broke their record.
So it was beautiful to see so many, Sky Blue fans and Rain fans. There was a lot of people out there.
So many of our friends were there. We didn't even get to see them.
That's right.
Gabby Kirshner was there. Christine Cupo. There were so many.
Yeah. So it was cool. There was, not only was, there was that feeling of like, it felt important.
It felt like if you have anything to do with soccer in the New York area, you had to have been there.
Yeah, well, it's
the place to be.
Top 5 places to be in the city tonight.
7 coolest places to see the Sky Blue take on Reign FC.
So but it did feel important, right? And I didn't sort of realize until after the game, sort of the amount of work it took for Sky Blue to like basically convince New York Red Bulls to like let them use the stadium, right? I think it's apparently been a thing for a long time where they've been trying to like kind of have a stronger partnership, and this was the moment that it happened, and they were not only happy but proud, because you see, this is why Sky Blue fans and NWSL fans in general have to be like, they have to press you, right? Because it's like it's year to year, right? They don't know if the league is going to be around the following year and things like that.
I mean, the league is more stable, but yeah, they went through some real troubles as a club last year.
Exactly. So they have to, and not even just as a club, but like the league itself. I mean, it's not certain ever that the league is going to be back all the time. It's only 6 years old, right? I think this is their 6th year or this is their 7th year. Hasn't been very long. There hasn't been this consistency. So it does take that grassroots, like, like hopping in your DMs, being like, yo, you gonna be there or what?
Oh, you a soccer fan, you say? Well, let me ask you just one quick question.
So, but it was cool to see, and it did, like I said, it did feel like significant and important to a lot of people. Yeah.
Not just because we were there. It was because everyone else was.
And I wanna point this out because we did get an awesome email, and we did bump into a lot of people that were like, we were walking around and people were like hooligans and all this stuff.
Remember the kid?
The kid. So we got an email from the kid. So the kid Casey. So shout out to Casey.
Shouts to Casey.
So thank you for being a fan of the show. He is 12 years old.
Shouts to your parents, dude.
Because
but the father's like, he was like, I'm sure my son's a big fan of your podcast. I'm sure you don't use any questionable language. And it was like, that might be exclusively what we use.
You know what? He's being a good kid because he's lying to his parents.
Yeah, he's trying to save you the heartache of you hear our podcast.
But Casey sent an email. I don't think you've seen this. That was genuinely incredibly touching, and it was very. And I want to read it because it was like really, really cool. He goes,
"Is he cool with us reading it?"
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's not nothing crazy.
Okay.
He says, "Hi, I'm Casey. I met you at the Sky Blue game yesterday. I wanted to say thank you for the sticker and the picture." He says, "I also wanted to thank you for brightening my days when I." I'm getting a little emotional. He goes, "I want to thank you for brightening my days when I've been bullied by other kids at school, or I'm just generally feeling depressed, and the Cooligans make me feel happy. I estimate I've listened to a little bit over 300 hours of Cooligans, including going back to day one, and I can't stress how important it is to me."
Yo. I didn't see that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really, really
Shouts
cool.
to you, Casey. Also, feel free to send us any information on the people that are bullying you, and we will 100% roast those motherfuckers on our show.
So he finishes, and this is where this is great. He goes, "Lastly, I want to thank Christian for representing for all those with the voice of a 12-year-old."
He's actually 12.
So I got your back, bro. And he goes, "And Alexis for representing all those with the mind of one." Casey roasting us. This is incredible. Casey's like, yeah, he's learned a thing or two from 300 hours of Cooligans content.
Also, I can't think of anything worse for a brain that is developing than 300 hours of our content. But shouts to Casey.
Yeah, shouts to Casey, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was great meeting you. And it's obviously like whenever people say hello to us, and it's obviously very kind and flattering. And yes, we get like when young people are listening to our show, we're like, all right.
Why is our reaction always to apologize?
Like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
I feel like he's too young to have a phone. Yeah. Should be on the internet, really?
Yeah, maybe like we should put some parental guidelines or locks on this phone.
It's really a question to the parents and the parenting.
Yeah. And his parents look so cool. They were like, hey, we love you. And we were like, I went to shake the dad's hand. He's like, no, him. And I'm like, oh no.
No, so Casey, thank you, man. We appreciate the support. We love you. Thanks
Casey, you're the best, dude.
Yeah, man, you're an awesome kid, man. And there's no way he's not the coolest kid in his school.
Certainly the gulliest.
Well, doubt. I mean, that's how it works. So,
let us dox your bullies, dude.
all of a sudden, it's a 4chan podcast.
Yo, we will send Gully Squad after your bullies.
Man, it's just like, like I always say when I dealt
part
with
of growing up.
Like I dealt with some bullying, and as a
me too, and I felt so bad I had to do it. You know what I mean? No, I'm joking. I know.
But I think it's kind of why I developed a sense of humor. You sort of, it's a defense mechanism. But the best thing about school is that you'll be in a new school soon, right? Where you'll get new friends and everybody getting bullying and getting bullied is like this weird part of figuring out
as long as it doesn't go too far,
obviously,
a couple joking here and there.
It's just but some people go too far. They don't know where the boundaries are.
Right.
But
it is good to see sort of how you react to you being the butt of a joke.
Yeah,
I think that's always that's part of when I grew up, we did more like dozens. You know what I mean? Like where we kind of sat around purposely making fun of each other just to see who was like the best at it, and that was where I sharpened those tools. That was my training. Those were my 2-a-days. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then I went to lunch, and again, that was the second part of the 2-a-day. Like, man, he is prepared for eating and making fun of people. And now I do it for a living. But that's kind of where I learned I have this skill set. And I may not be able to fight the other person, but I'll make fun of them so bad that they'll never want to do this to me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you develop those things. So shouts to you, shouts to everyone in school that's listening to us, shouts to all of our youth viewership.
The Youth Gully Squad.
Yo, the Gully Development Squad.
the Gully Development Academy.
The GDA. Yeah. God damn it, God.
So, hopefully, the next generation is more prepared.
Well, New York has that Blau Goshwe. We need to come up with the Your Gully.
So we'll get there. So, Casey, again, thanks again, man. It's really cool to see, and we appreciate the support. So, but yes, anything else from the NWSL? Sky Blue 1-1 against the Rain.
No, just shouts to Kaylin Sheridan, who had a great game.
Yeah, she said hello to us. That was cool.
We were kind of up close and personal. Forget Groom. What was the name of
Shea Groom.
Shea Groom, when she got injured.
Yeah. Took a collision with Carly Lloyd.
I don't know if we were on camera or anything, but her stretcher went right past us. We kind of had to get out of the way. And I heard her say to the trainer, this hurts so bad. You forget the human element. There's something about when an injury happens, you just don't really see the player react.
Yeah, because you don't hear them.
You don't hear them. So to you, it happens almost in a vacuum. To see a player in so much pain, I wanted to be like, what are we doing? Just help her here. Stop the game. You know what I mean? It was shocking. And thank God she's doing better.
She's doing better, yeah. I made sure to go to her Instagram to see if there were any updates.
She got pizza. She can't be bad.
She did get pizza.
Although, did you read her update? Her body did not react to any of the pain medication.
Oh, I didn't
So
see
she's
that.
just been in pain this whole time. So
she fractured a rib and dislocated a rib. And it was a tough collision with Carly. Carly Lloyd's, she's a muscular, she's a solid lady.
Yeah.
Right? And Shea Groom is significantly smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But someone initially I thought it was a little bit of a dirty play, but I think they were both going up for a ball, and I think Carly Lloyd got pushed into her and maybe caught her in just a bad spot on her ribs or whatever. It's unfortunate, and
it's part of the game.
It's just.
But shouts to Shea Groom,
but she's apparently gonna be okay according to.
Maybe she could come on the show. Take some time.
Just from her hospital bed.
Tell the doctor to come back in 20 minutes. When she's obviously out of the hospital, part of her recovery.
Well, it was that obvious because I think the listeners heard you say that and they weren't sure you were obviously
It was obvious to me when I said
it. To wait for her recovery.
No, now. Let's get it right now. Oh, we have someone today? Okay, never mind.
Why are you short of breath, Shay?
Yo, answer the question when we ask it.
Anyway. It was a great time, and 1-1. And
shouts to Risas, which had the blue empanadas. Which the money went to Fighting Hard, which is a foundation for kids with diseases. So look at that.
Kids with diseases. That's it. That's
Yeah, you got disease? You want empanadas?
You got the sniffles. We got a charity for you. It's a little bit more.
It seems a bit more intricate.
Look up Fighting Hard. It's a very significant and important charity. So anyway, okay. So let's give a shout out to our sponsor for today, SeatGeek, looking out for you. If any, look, we were talking about going to NWSL games. You want to go to, you wanted to get tickets to this game for Sky Blue,
or any MLS game, or anything,
or almost any event. So you can just go download the SeatGeek app. Make sure you do that. We have it on our phones, and
of course,
whenever we want to go to some event, it's incredibly simple. Just look up either an event in your area, or
you can look it up based on where you are. You can look up specific events. Maybe you want to go to a comedy show where you are. Maybe you want to go to a concert. Maybe you want to go to an MLS game, and you want to go to an NWSL game. You could put that in there, or you could just see what's available in your area. Maybe you're, like I've talked about this before, maybe you're on a date and you're like, oh, this isn't going well. We need to be somewhere where we don't speak to each other.
She keeps asking me for pictures of my feet.
I know, right?
It ain't a good date.
I'm not even wearing shoes. You specifically said for me not to wear shoes. But like, yo, if you get it, the first order, you put Cooligans in. I mean, you're going to get $10 off.
$10 off. So use the promo code Cooligans and you will get $10 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. It's a great app.
It's a great app. Get it. It's got the color code, so you know if it's a good deal or a great deal. Boom, $10 off. Even better deal. They should have one where a little Cooligans logo pops up. It's the best deal. It's the gulliest deal you're going to get.
SeatGeek programmers.
All right.
Get on it.
Get those guys tippity-tapping on that. Come on, you could do it, right? You're an IT guy. Get in there.
That's it. Tickety-tap. Tickety-tap.
Tip-tap, tippity.
Okay, so let's get to a more serious subject, especially that's been going on the last couple days. We spoke about this recently.
I thought we resolved it.
That's why the Cooligans exist, to resolve any tiffs that you may have. Yeah. This is like family court for soccer issues.
Exactly.
So let's talk about there's been a couple games that has been happening all over. Supporters are responding, aggressively to the MLS sort of apolitical policy that they've sort of been, talking about recently, right? MLS, if you haven't listened, if you want to catch up, MLS doesn't want to have any political signage at games. They just want to kind of, just not be one side or another or whatever. Yeah. And which is a fine stance to take if...
I mean, yes
hold
and no.
on. It's a fine stance to take if, people, so these right-wing activist people are not, like, punching Seattle Sounders fans on their way to games. So that's why we have a problem with it, because you have to take a stance when there's clearly your supporters are under attack.
Right. So, and then, people were waving like Trump paraphernalia at the Timbers game, and they were asked, like, other fans were getting upset by it, which would, again, you've heard us speak, we would be too.
Exactly.
Right. So, like, I kind of understand it from a business point, from a business perspective, why you want to sort of wipe your hands of any liability for lawsuits by saying, you know what, no one can be political. You know what I mean? It's like a very corporate thing. But this is starting to feel very different, over the last few weeks. It's starting to feel like, by taking a non-political stance, you're actually helping what I want to call the bad side of the argument,
Yeah.
I don't think I stand out by saying that. Like, when you have like extreme right-wing groups that are forming around these games that are starting to infiltrate. And if you look back in history, by not taking a stance early on is what caused for it to sort of spiral out of control in England and in other areas. And it's starting to happen again. Look at Russia, where the fans have said, like, well, we can't have a black player. We're a Russian team. And the team actually got rid of the black player because of it.
That was what team was that? Zenit?
I think it's Zenit. That's why I kind of stopped wearing my Zenit St. Petersburg jersey, which is, again, I have stuff that matches it. Really, this is the issue.
You're really damaging his wardrobe.
I know. Come on, I ain't got many things that fit, my guy. But you look at the stances that have taken, you look at some of the hooliganism that's coming back into the game. You look at sort of the structured hooliganism that's in Russia. Right? We were talking about this against the English fans and stuff. This kind of stuff doesn't go away on its own. It needs to be focused on. Yeah. And we're starting to see the government take more of a focus on, domestic terrorism and extreme right-wing hatred online and gun policy and things like this. If you're not going to change the laws, then some of the people that are using those laws badly are going to start to be found. And we're starting to see those things. As a league, you can't just be Switzerland about it. You can't.
Yeah, it's difficult to be neutral with this stuff. But MLS is taking this is the position that they're taking.
But it's also kind of hypocritical if you have like Army Appreciation Week and you have rainbow numbers on your back for LGBTQ. I don't know if it's a week or a month. I forget what they do. But if you're going to have those focuses, those are political. If your fans can't do it.
I would disagree. To me, it's like those feel, military, yes, but LGBT is just like a human rights thing. It's just like more, just like inclusive.
Sure.
I mean, it's a thing, you can call it political. Anybody can call it political because
those things are politicized.
And for those people, right?
Sure.
Laws are taken away for gay people, transgender people, things like that. So that their lives are inherently political.
Right.
But the effort to include doesn't sound like it, right? But and I'm making this a point to just say the signage that is being removed from games, like people are being thrown out. This happened for Atlanta United. A couple of Atlanta United fans were they had the banner. They had either the Iron Front logo or the End Gun Violence banner.
I think it was the End Gun Violence banner. But they were thrown out. It was the 2 sticks, right? Somebody with 2 sticks got thrown out. And then people who filmed that dude getting thrown out or woman getting thrown out were banned for a year for filming police procedure, I guess.
I don't know the details, but but this is how MLS is choosing to handle this, where like there has to be some. This is a difficult issue because the stance of nobody gets to put up any signage is not going to work because, and especially when you're telling people to, remove a sign that says "End Gun Violence." It's like, what are you implying, that you are for gun violence? It just seems a little absurd.
These things are and here's the other thing too. A lot of times it's security teams that aren't full. These aren't MLS front office officials that are going up to you and removing you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are security people that they don't know. And a lot of times it's NFL security, which are super harsh because they're not used to fan displays this way.
Sure.
Here we go, defense. This is the most they do in NFL games. No offense to NFL fans.
Here we go, defense. What? I love that chant.
Come on, you defenders. But you know what I mean? Like, remember like when people would have the D in the fence?
Yes.
You know what I mean? People like that were not allowed to bring it into NBA games at first. Like, they're not used to TIFOs and things like this.
Yeah.
Remember, in Minnesota when the TIFO broke, the guy standing next to me, he's like, I told him not to do that stupid big banner. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know. They're not aware of what the culture is.
This is where, if I was running MLS, right, and this is where
What would you do?
What would I do?
What would you do if you were running MLS?
If I was, I would kind of do everything I can to differentiate myself from other American sports, right? And I think of Gary Gulman. Gary Gulman is a great stand-up comedian, and he's been putting up the Gulman.
Very pro gun violence. No, I'm joking.
He's been putting up the Gulman tips, or he gives comedians
and writing tips
on how to
one a day on Twitter,
how to kind of move your career forward and things like that. And one of the things he mentioned was about not worrying about another comedian's success. Like another comedian succeeding opens up a lane for your whole industry,
right?
So that you can possibly get in, right?
Eyes on your own paper, if you will.
And that's how I think MLS should sort of handle this, where it's like.
MLS should not worry about comedians succeeding. What are they doing?
Exactly. But they should, they can, so his main focus was don't worry about their success, worry about being different. And this is an opportunity for MLS. Soccer it's almost impossible to separate politics and the sport.
Especially historically.
Everywhere else.
And also, there's record of what's happening these days.
Yeah.
Be on the right side of history here. You know what I mean? The Iron Front, as far as I know, I've certainly not done a lot of research or any, but as far as I know, that was the group that started to counter the Nazi movement inside of Germany, which seems like some pretty brave souls, if you ask me. That doesn't seem like the kind of thing I should stand against.
Correct. And there's also a reason it's happening. It's not just, they're not putting that there because this will be fun.
Yeah, these aren't vote for Hillary signs.
They're putting it up there because there are actual people,
Nazis
that are like, white genocide and send them back to where they came. These people are going to soccer games and they're making it difficult for they're making it realistic. They're making it difficult for the people that don't want to politicize anything, right? They really just want to like spread love and show and be inclusive.
Yeah.
And by banning this symbol, by being very penalizing these people so harshly, it's not a good look. I mean, there's no real other way to put it.
What is the message you're sending? You know what I mean? Like, especially in the world we live in where every little thing gets dissected in these little message boards that they all have.
Yeah.
Like, if you're banning people from doing the Iron Front, that's telling these alt-right groups like, oh, they're on our side. You know what I mean? And this causes more of a stir. Personally, I don't understand how this is a big deal, and I don't understand how any lawyer would be against this. This would be a lawsuit I'd be willing to take on if I were a league myself, to just be like, no, we're going to stand on the right side of, like, yeah, and I get it. I get what Portland Timbers put out and said, like, fine, you can wear shirts, but you can't have large banners, because Antifa has had physical altercations in the past. Yeah, that's true. Whether they've been instigated by the other side or not, I get that point. I understand it. And this is legitimately just a liability. The team goes away if they get sued. You know what I mean? Like if they get sued for too much. Like that's just what it is. You know what I mean? There's liabilities involved. It's as difficult a pill as that is to swallow. You have to understand that this is more than just like you should be allowed to do it, but there's lawsuits that can happen. So how do you protect the club itself so that we can continue to go somewhere and have a good time? I may not agree with it, but I understand where they're coming from. Putting up something that says end gun violence, putting something that says anti-fascist, putting up something that says like, love all, like those types of things. I don't understand the message you're sending by not allowing that.
I don't know what to fight it. I think it's to hopefully avoid inciting some sort of violence, which is like,
you know what they're trying to do? Like, remember when like your mother and father or your mother and your sibling would argue and you just got up and left the room? Like, if I ain't here, I can't get involved in this.
If a sign that says end gun violence incites violence, it's not the person that has the sign who is the problem.
Right.
So like, we have to be realistic.
In fact, that he's asking or she's asking for this to end.
Yeah. So look, and a lot of people a lot of supporters are angry and they're upset. And Portland Timbers put out a statement trying to like figure out a way to like handle this, because I'm not necessarily even frustrated with the clubs themselves. This is a league policy, league decision. This is going to be handled by realistically by MLS and by the Independent Supporters Council, right? But Bailey Brown. We were in Dallas and we got to meet all the supporters, all the heads of all the supporters groups, and they really talk about plans. And I want to, for the people who don't know me, casual kind of soccer fan, there's a lot of people doing a lot of hard work, really trying to not only make the game day experience fun for you, but they have to
safe.
Yeah, they try to make it safe. They organize a lot of stuff with the front offices of every team.
There's an unbelievable amount of bureaucracy that goes into small things.
Yeah.
If you want to put up a TIFO, it takes building a sort of a communal relationship with those front offices. And those are things that are very hard to manage, especially if you're just supporters. These people have jobs.
Yeah.
Their career isn't being a supporter. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, these are people that are trying to do other things throughout their day and then also keep up this great relationship and this great sort of camaraderie with this front office person who sometimes changes often. There's a lot that goes into it. And for the front office person, it's a lot to now mitigate this extra stuff that they want to do and make sure that it's all within the bounds and whatnot. I'm not saying that that's not the case. It's just there's an incredible amount of work that goes into all of that. It takes a lot of effort. Now all of a sudden have these things where like you're putting all this effort into getting something in that seems innocuous, seems like something we could all agree on. If somebody held up a sign that said puppies are cool and you're like, get that guy out of here, we'd be like, what are you trying to say?
I'm more of a kitten.
Yeah. Me out of here.
So it's going to be a lot. That's where I think the conversation is more crucial. Not really between. I mean, obviously with the supporters and their clubs is significant, but the clubs are the clubs are like, my hands are tied. I work for MLS. I'm a part of this system. These are the rules that they've given us, and these are the rules that we're supposed to follow. It's like. You can get mad at the clubs themselves, but they're they're the mouthpiece for what the league
It's a
sort
single
of tells
entity.
them. Yeah, exactly.
This is all MLS. You know what I mean? Especially Portland Timbers fans would love to think Portland Timbers. That's part of MLS. Like, there's nothing that the club can actually do. And in fact, I feel like they've gone further than what they probably were told to do.
I think when it comes to the connection, especially with Timbers Army, and they know that the Timbers Army is incredibly organized and they have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And they can sort of they have to communicate clearly to them.
Here's the other thing: we don't know this, we've not confirmed this, but just from having met a bunch of people that work for that organization, a lot of these organizations, they don't want to have to say these things. They don't want to have to tell you can't have those banners. As from human to human, they would love. Everyone we've ever met that works for the front office or for any team or for the league is a relatively warm and open person, and they want inclusiveness, and they want everyone. As long as you're for everyone, they want you to be able to go to the games. They would love for all these banners to go up.
Yeah.
But there's an overarching,
Yeah, I think the only way, and it's unfortunate, but the only way to kind of make your voice heard is probably in Liverpool when they walked out in like the 60th minute or things like that. Like
ticket prices didn't go up.
Yeah, we sort of already seen a lot of MLS supporters like not spending money at concessions and things like that. So it's something has to happen. This neutral stance is not getting anybody anywhere.
No.
So MLS,
and it's just going to continue to look bad. It's going to compound and compound if you just keep kicking out people that are holding up signs for things that are positive. I just don't get it. And gun violence does not seem like something that I would get kicked out of a thing. Maybe like if you're like in the background of Good Morning America, they'd be like, oh, that's not family friendly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe. I can't imagine that either.
It's just, I look, if I was running...
Maybe at a gun show. All right.
Enough with that.
Yeah. Whoa,
don't bring that negativity here.
Well, buddy, we're trying to make sales.
So
I got to get a boat, which is bulletproof.
I'm just saying, I don't know. If to me, as a soccer fan, I would say just, lean in hard into this stuff. Lean into this very kind of left. Some clubs will be more left wing than others. Some will have more signage, but you see it in Germany all the time where there's like some politician that says something dumb and there's a giant sign that this damn ridiculous person. They make fun of him, call him a Nazi if he says something incredibly insane or whatever. But the supporters have a voice. That part of like the players, they're there to support the players. They're there to support the club. And the experience between politics and the sport that they love is very much
they go hand in hand.
Intertwined.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I would, why can't MLS be that? Let NFL get mad at the players kneeling and let them be all that and just lean harder into it. That's how I would handle it, because it's like, some people are going to be bothered, some people are going to be upset with it, but in the long, if you were looking at the long game, these millennials are not going to be. We're not trending more conservative.
No.
So just be that, and that's where the guap is, in my opinion.
You try to find a guap, we just found it for you. We're like those hogs that find truffles, my guy.
Okay, whatever.
That's not a reference you get? Only certain pigs can find the truffles. Very expensive.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know what the
pigs become very expensive.
The truffle practice.
Tim said this Torpedo Moscow hired and then fired a black player. I don't think you hire and fire, but signed and I guess traded away or broke the contract. And Zenit St. Petersburg did the same thing.
So okay, well we don't want that here, right? No. Clearly,
leave it in Russia.
Okay, so a couple of things, and then we'll talk about a couple of the games, the Major League Soccer games that we checked out. This is a nice, in better news, in more fun American soccer news. I just saw this was on Twitter. Forward Madison are going to be. They had posted for their next game. They invited a star, a celebrity, to get people again more hyped up and excited about the game.
I mean, the stars all come out for Forward Madison.
It's because so his name is Leslie David Baker is going to be attending the game.
But you may better know him as Stanley from The Office.
Stanley from The Office, which is amazing.
Oh my God!
And I love the if you don't follow Forward Madison on Twitter Twitter, please do so because they have a very fun take on not only just their team and soccer and their kits and everything, but they're very much selling themselves as like we're the fun team out here in Wisconsin. So come check it out. But yes, he's good. It's just such a strange. You don't really see this from.
Does he live in the area?
I have no idea. I hope so. Maybe they're flying him out. Who knows? Maybe he's gonna ride in on a flamingo. So that'd be really cool. But it's just a cool thing to see. I don't know. There's just like not really
dope.
It's just like okay, cool. They're this is how you connect with supporters.
You're gonna have one of the funniest characters on the most watched show on all of Netflix.
Oh, really? Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. It's the #1 show on Netflix.
It's leaving.
It's leaving.
Yeah, because it's going to...
it's going to Ford Madison. They're going to... It's the only way you can watch it.
Okay, you got to subscribe to Ford Madison. No, but it's going to... NBC is starting their own thing, or Hulu's starting their
Disney Plus? Is that theirs? No, that's ABC.
That's ABC, yeah. So it's leaving Netflix, I think, in a couple months. So
yeah.
But I can't. Can you watch a series over again? Like The Office is like 7-8 seasons. I can't like watch it.
Not the whole thing.
No,
but there's a couple episodes that I love that I'll pick up.
Shows like this, I can't watch it on Netflix, but I can if it's on TV, I'll watch it again. But I can't pull out the DVD collection of Seinfeld and start watching a random Seinfeld episode.
Well, no, like IT Crowd, I could watch the whole thing over. But there's also they do 6 episodes a season.
Exactly. That's reason.
It's one regular season in America. 4 or 5 years are there.
So that's gonna be great. Seeing Stanley at the Ford Madison game. So I can't wait to check that out.
Did you? Speaking of, by the way, Christian Polanco. Did you see this Talk Sport thing?
Yes, I did.
I mean.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts?
Can you tell? I mean, yeah. Can you tell? You're bringing up the story when you tell people what the story is.
So, TalkSport is I guess it's a radio, and it's like a radio program in Europe, which they've had like some incidences of. I'm not sure if it was racism or something. I forgot. I remember Hugh Wizzy got a show on there, and he made it a big point to be like, I want to change the culture. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So we don't get it here, but it seems like just a bunch of British people talking about sports. So it's probably not the most positive place. But this is what TalkSport Drive, which I don't know who the announcers are. But this is what they said. They actually tweeted this out.
They
quoted it themselves.
They're kind of proud of themselves.
They're very proud. They're like,
very
look
odd.
what we did here. This feels like a very Brexit-y radio show. When commentators pronounce names expertly. Correctly. I'm going to read their quote. When commentators pronounce names expertly correctly, it does my head in. It might be right, but nobody says that. Just say it how it's meant to be said in this country.
Yeah. So you've seen clips, particularly of Max Bredos, and we have an interview with Max Bredos coming soon that where
he covers this,
where we
subject.
sort of have this kind of conversation, where people get mad at him for saying the names correctly. Like he'll say the Hispanic names or the Spanish speaking players of Latin descent. He'll
pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced. That we can do because we speak Spanish.
And we can roll our R's, all right, my guy? We got it.
Maximiliano Bretos. Okay, now I'm not yelling at him. He does it correctly. Everyone else, what kind of insanity?
So if you haven't seen it, it's on our Twitter. You can check it out. And it is from TalkSport. And it is, just to describe what it is the host basically saying that don't say the names correctly because you sound silly. You sound silly saying it.
Like
right.
if you said Mohamed Salah, I don't know the exact.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no, say Mohamed Salah because that's the way we say it.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
You telling people how to say their name? I wish I knew this dude's name so I could mess it up.
Like I understand the sort of the take of like if you want to. You didn't grow up with that language. The saying that the player's name might be a little bit difficult. Like if you have that perspective, like I understand. Like
here's the thing: try.
Sure, you can.
Or if the player says like, sometimes people want to bring me up to stage and they'll be like, "It's Alexis Guerrero," and I'm like, "You're gonna hurt your tongue. Don't you dare."
Yeah.
Just say Guerreros. I'm okay with it. I've said it's okay. I've introduced myself as Alexis Guerreros. I don't need you to go Alexis Guerreros every time. You're not going to be able to do it. It's going to sound stupid, and then I have to go up there and clean that mess up. And there's going to be spit all over the mic. You don't know how to roll your tongue. I get it. There's some situations where they're fine. Acipilacuerta, maybe you don't need to throw in the lisp in there, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe he's okay with it.
Sure, and that conversation obviously is probably had with between the journalists and the players, but they were making weird. I just hate that
the guy's name is Adrian Durham.
I hate that they were so proud of themselves for this perspective.
Shit take.
This is like it's annoying. They're like they use a point like Fernandinho, right? Like and he would say Fernandinho, right?
Yeah.
Like a little softer on the D, right?
Like it has almost like a G to it.
Yes. And they're like, well, no, why would you say it? Just say it the way, like, it's just like, well, if he wants his name said correctly, then that's how you would say it. Don't be like, you're a clown. I'm going to say your name the way I want to say it.
What do we got to say it the way your mother said it?
Like,
yeah.
That is not the take to have. I understand it might be difficult.
And also, it's not disrespectful to say Fernandinho if you don't know it's Fernandinho. Where it becomes wrong is to be like, yo, why are you going to make us try to say it like that?
Why? Why have that take at all? It's just so unnecessary, and you sound mildly bigoted. You sound like
mildly.
Like I ain't got time for your weird ass syllable names.
Ew, son.
No, but look, and it means a lot because especially the Premier League is the most popular league in the world,
right?
And the way people say they're like,
it's heard all over the world.
For me, like Hector Bellerin, when I hear that, I know it's wrong.
Right.
But I constantly hear Hector Bellerin when I know
it's Bellerin.
It's Bellerin. And that's like, it feels weird to like, you get conditioned.
Yeah. But also, he's okay with it.
And exactly.
And that's where, like, if Lacazette wanted you to pronounce it more of a French way, why is it that hard? Like, we've done media stuff where they hand you these, like, 1,000 pages stapled together. We're comedians. You don't need to waste it on us.
Yeah.
But part of it is they have like the little phonetic pronunciation of each player's name next to it. So it's like, like the way, like when I first started hosting comedy shows, I'd be like, all right, Christian Polanco, I would write it out the way I would know to say it, as opposed to the way it's spelled and then remember the pronunciation of it. You know what I mean? Like I would write it the way it sounds. And that's fine, just so I get the name out correctly. It's not that difficult. I don't understand why it does your head in. I'd love to do your head in.
Okay.
Oh,
nice.
Flames.
Oh, bro.
Bars.
You didn't know what you walked into, bro.
You in my house now. We're going to do it the way we do it in this country. It's just such a dumb thing. It's like, you don't have to. All you're doing, you know what that is? That's like all the old British guys who like the guys who used to be members of firms and stuff. They're like, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't want to say it the way you say it where you're from.
It sounds a little.
So you just want to say it incorrectly?
No, yeah. It sounds a little bit like people getting like there's more than two genders.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not gonna change the way I speak.
How many bathrooms we gonna have? Whatever.
It's just like, who cares, man? It's just like,
also, we're from New York. Like most bathrooms we go to, it's one bathroom for everybody.
Exactly. And I go straight to the glory hole. That's right.
If there's not a second bathroom, where's that glory hole coming from? There's a real question that we got to ask.
I don't ask any questions.
None whatsoever.
So, yes, a dumb thing from England. Just another dumb thing. Okay, so...
that's a segment we can do every week.
Dumb thing from England.
What's another dumb thing from England?
So, last couple things. Onel Hernandez.
You mean Arnold? Arnold Hernandez? Right, Talk Sport?
The first Cuban player, we had mentioned it before.
Injured.
Plays for Norwich, Norwich City.
Norwich.
They love it when we say that.
That's how we say it here, bro.
He's injured, and reports said he was going to be out for 3 months. How did he get injured? Because he was not injured at the game. He was not injured during training.
He stepped on a healing crystal. It's happening to all of us.
He straight up. Alexis was injured at home. These are Cubans.
Yeah, like twins.
They need to stay in like a hotel room, or they can't be home.
No, sympathy pain, bro. He felt it.
So Onel Hernandez, first Cuban player, gets his first minutes in the Premier League. We're all excited.
He slipped on some ropa vieja.
The next week, He hurts himself at home.
At home.
A domestic injury.
Hate to see it.
I don't know. I don't know if it was his Cuban wife smacking him across the head.
Pero qué coño.
Muchacho, coño, ¿qué está haciendo?
¿Quién te dijo?
Because so injury at home and her injures his, I believe, MCL, gonna be out for 2 months.
Well, it wasn't listed. It was officially listed as a fuacata.
He was that was
or un cocotazo.
Imagine Talk Sport talking about those injuries.
Fuacata. I saw him play a few years ago.
What is how they can describe out 6 to 8 weeks before a fuacata? This is a bit confusing.
Yeah. Cocotazo.
Never heard of this, but it seems serious.
Yeah.
So the injury, just really comical. Even how you're a hero in Cuba.
Hero. Changing the game forever.
Exactly.
But also shouts to him for being the first injured Cuban player in the Premier League. All right, we're breaking records, baby.
Okay, look at that. Impressive.
Setting standards.
So, yeah, I was looking to see him in the next game because Norwich won the game, got a hat trick from Timu Pukki.
Yeah, Pukki.
Okay, I know him. I know. Yo, that's Pukki from 137.
From around the way?
I know him.
Tell him I said what's up.
It's a hat trick. That could have been one of those goals. That hat trick could have been for Onel Hernandez.
It could have been a brace and Onel Hernandez be the first goal scorer.
All right, but now we're gonna have to wait a few more weeks for that.
We got a 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Just waiting for the first Cuban goal in Premier League history.
We're waiting to see it, so it'll be great. All right, so let's talk about a couple of the matches that happened last week. Let's talk about the Campeones Cup first. That happened last Wednesday after we recorded, right?
Right.
The Atlanta United wins 3-2 against Club America. First time. It's only been 2 years that the Campeones Cup has existed.
But it's already...
But that's it. It's
the most
tied.
significant.
It's tied 1-1.
That's it, baby.
MLS gets a victory. Atlanta United wins this game 3-2 in one of the better soccer games I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Incredibly entertaining game. We had penalties, just a lot of controversy. But more than anything, they both wanted to win this game.
Yo, what's his name? Piojo was on the sideline.
Yeah.
Going nuts. He got a yellow card. I've never seen a coach get a yellow card.
Wait, they usually get reds or what?
Just red. Yeah, you get thrown out of the game. No one's like, buddy.
Tata for Mexico has already gotten 2 yellow cards in during the Gold Cup. Remember, he missed the game. He got suspended 1 game because he got 2 yellow cards in the Gold Cup.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I guess I wasn't paying attention.
Well, yeah. You know what? Alexis doesn't actually watch soccer. He's just not really interested. He's
not a big fan of the sport.
He's just more concerned about what Cuban people are doing around the world.
Yeah. I mean, if he was the first lacrosse professional player, this would be a lacrosse podcast.
So, but it was really, really cool to see that more than the how entertaining the game was, but that both teams, and this is how, and this is what I love, because we were talking about for weeks about how Atlanta and all the players were like frustrated with the style of play that Frank de Boer is kind of implementing, and all of a sudden it just Frank de Boer must have been like, hey, he must have been watching a lot of Liga MX games. He's like, play like those guys.
Yeah. Why don't we do this?
Why don't we do this? Because they actually don't even really care about defense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind winning 5-4
because this game was just so back and forth, where there was like almost no defensive philosophy.
It looked like they were playing at a Yankee Stadium, because I'm like, how are they already in the final third?
But this is why Liga MX is like such a popular league.
Right.
The players, the quality is there, but realistic defending is not.
It's not a strong point.
It's not the strong point. There's some good defenders there.
Oh, incredible
quality
defenders.
is there, but
there just doesn't seem to be many of them on each of the teams.
They don't prioritize that.
No,
and there's no way that like the league, the heads of the league are like, this is the brand of soccer that we want to put out into the world.
They saw England in the 90s and they're like, we don't want to do this.
No, that's no interest whatsoever. But
what if we did the exact opposite?
But it's great to see, right? Like this is it's nice.
I watched Necaxa versus Santos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a lot of shots, not a lot of scoring, but it was so back and forth. I'm like, this is exciting.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing where I think Mexican like players, like growing up in Mexico, like the philosophies that are taught are clearly a bit more. They're not as like technical as Brazil.
No,
but
Brazil's more midfielder.
Yeah, but they're clearly not as defensively minded as like American kids growing up, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like have some swag and out-swag the other team.
Yeah. Also, like, take a couple shots from wherever the hell you want. Some of these people were just, I'm like, there were players open.
Yeah. But it was great to see Atlanta United be able to keep up in that mentality and not be stuck in like, let's have our mentality and play the way we play. It's like, let's play our game. They're like, no, let's play their game and do it at them, right?
Yeah. And shouts to a Mexican team finally folding at the end. It's always us.
Yeah.
It's always an American team that somehow dies at the last second. Now, they fell apart.
Exactly. Awesome. See, I mean, really, there's a bunch of great moments, but we have to talk about Jeff Larenowitz's goal in the 59th minute.
Golazo.
That was...
Say it the way we say it in this country.
Because that was a straight-out Mexican golazo, man.
Wow.
I did not know. It's just like I always say, I'm like, I didn't know Jeff Larenowitz had that feature.
Yeah, okay? No, man. I just bashed a bunch of buttons together. I didn't think he could do that.
It did take a deflection, but it was going in. It was going to give the keeper some trouble.
Yeah, no, it was going in. It was fine. He shot a rocket.
Beautiful.
It was amazing.
And they held on, and there was a second yellow that Club America player got, but they just played confidently and impressive, and especially going into that game against Portland. Yeah, and where they
rematch of the MLS Cup from last year.
And they played incredibly well there as well. So it's like Atlanta, the team that we thought was falling apart. They had this a very tough start. Are looking like they might repeat MLS Cup. I mean, they've been looking the last couple of weeks. They've looked incredible.
Yeah, my dark horse is completely falling apart. So.
I wouldn't say falling apart, just not as consistent as before. But they're still doing pretty well. San Jose is doing well.
They're in sixth place. They're doing all right.
So, a great game. And congrats, Atlanta United winning more stuff. So let's talk about a couple games. Just go down the line real quick. FC Cincinnati against NYCFC. FC Cincinnati scores first. And
they're like, all right, you guys take it from here.
let's be all Cincinnati after in the second half. And couple issues. James Sands injured in this game.
He had hurt his hand already. Couldn't brace himself, so now he injured his collarbone.
Which is just unfortunate. Young kid, one of the kind of becoming one of the more reliable center backs. Kind of snubbed in the U20 World Cup.
Yeah, very
people
much so.
Were he was definitely upset with that. He's a starting center back in an MLS team and does not get called in to the U20 World Cup, which is kind of insane.
Makes zero sense.
But it looks like he's going to be out. I believe Glenn Crooks reported he is going to be out, I think 6 to 8 weeks. So this is maybe be back for playoffs.
Maybe.
Who knows? But just unfortunate to see it. So, but the star of this game had to be probably Tati Castellanos and Heber also.
2 braces in a row.
Yes.
Tati Castellano.
Yes, and then and Heber got a brace.
Castellano?
Castellano, yeah, that's what it's called. Who is it? There's somebody that calls him Castellanos on some broadcast. I don't know who, but it's like, man.
You know what just enrages me? When people say empanada.
Wow. Never heard that one.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
I love empanadas. I'm like,
okay, well, whose birthday is it?
I don't know. What's inside of it? Imagine just like minced meat.
Yo, that'd be a dope piñata.
That's a hell of a dope piñata. Why is Alexis lining up tortillas underneath the piñata? Empanada.
It's just like a soppy piñata.
Remember the ones you pull the string? It's just like cheese sticks you pull. I can't. The noise empanada.
Yes,
I'm allowing you to say it the American way. You don't even have to go like empanada.
Nah, man. I think a Colombian comes out and slaps you if you say empanada. Yeah. So the game, it was just like the second half sort of capitulation from Cincinnati. They home or away. just a very flawed team. They have the new coach, Ron Jans.
Ron Jans.
I saw him in the
sounds like porn name, doesn't it?
It is now.
Yeah. Ooh, Ron Jans.
So I saw him at halftime talking, and just like clearly, sort of, the frustration with his team is just like, not sort of trying hard enough, not communicating. The chemistry is not there. There's a lot of, you see the bad body language from a lot of the FC Cincinnati players. A lot of hands on the hips, slapping their,
bad body language, bad for sure. It's going to take a while to fix what's happened.
So hopefully,
but the fans are great.
Yes, Ron Jans is here to fix it, baby.
Yeah. He's going to deliver some pizza.
So next up,
you just got jammed.
So the next game to talk about, Montreal against FC Dallas. Insane game, 3-3 draw. Montreal, they a team that needs points, and they dropping them at just absolutely inopportune times. But I think the kind of the big takeaway here was that the game tying goal from none other than Ryan Hollingshead,
top of his Wikipedia. Formerly on Cooligans podcast as a guest.
That's right. I mean, it's his biggest credit. Yeah. So,
by the way, somebody put can you have on one of our strikers on Twitter? Did you see this?
I did see this.
This was 1 a.m. And I responded, I thought he said stickers. And I was like, wait, what? I'm confused. You want some of our stickers? You want to give us your stickers? And the person responded, this is from Cooligans, and he responded, read it again, Alexis. He knew it was me.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a group effort to try to help him with his reading and writing skills.
It was so goddamn funny. When I read it, and I was like, God damn it. He said, read it again, Alexis.
Because this is what I deal with.
It legitimately made me laugh out loud. I'm trying to find the name of the person who did it. It was so goddamn funny. I just damn it, they got me. Because I thought first of all, it's very, very late. It was 1 a.m. Cisco _TX.
Would it matter what time of day it was? I don't think so.
Shouts to you, Cisco. That was super funny. He just put read it again, apostrophe Alexis, period, LOL. It was perfect. Shouts to you, Cisco.
But yeah, no. Montreal up 3 goals.
You're fine, right?
There's no excuse.
There's no coming back from that.
There's no coming back.
But one of the teams has Paxton Pommicle on it.
And yeah, it is what it is, man. The FC Dallas you like seeing that never quit, that never die attitude, and FC Dallas are definitely. It's just, I feel like compared from last year to this year, new coach and
everyone thought it was going to be a shit show because it's a lot of kids, new coach, it's a youth coach coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be a shit show.
Not a shit show, but there was going to be some learning.
And I'll quote Alexis. You said everyone thought it was going to be a shit show. End quote. Which is wow, that's a big. I mean, that's a big
hyperbole's used in comedy sometimes. You guys,
I'm what is this? Is this a wild exaggeration? Yeah. I mean, literally, people. We were in Dallas. Everyone loved Lucci Gonzalez.
Of course, there they did. By the way, when Hollingshead scores and they show the sideline of all the coaches jumping up and down, and Lucci pops into the picture.
Yeah.
I'm going to start calling him Gucci Gonzalez. All right. This dude's got the tight button up shirt, all buttoned up all the way. He looks like one of the kids, he looks like one of the just recently retired players just kind of hanging out.
Okay.
In great shape, nice jawline on the guy, great haircut, nice fashion. You love to see it.
I feel like you just called him Gucci Longzalez. Is that what?
Yeah, I just replaced the G and the L.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, Lonzalez. It gets out of Gonzalez.
Okay, I'm just trying to because Gucci Gonzalez is pretty good, but you said Gucci Longzalez.
Yeah, I swapped the G and the L.
Got it. You know what?
Because he's Gucci.
At least we've confirmed you're talented. You know,
I can't read, but I can swap letters sometimes.
But no, man, I feel bad. We haven't talked about too much about Montreal this season, just because their season's been up and down.
Yeah.
But it's just things. You know what? This is not the reason you want to be on the show. right?
No, this isn't but they are in 7th place. Like, they're still in a playoff position.
Yeah, but who's pretty close to them? Orlando, I guess. I mean, Orlando.
Everybody relax.
They're not too worried about Orlando.
You'll be all right.
Well, look, Orlando did just win against. No, they draw against Minnesota, I believe. The last game, I don't remember. Anyway,
well, they have just 1 win and 1 draw in their last 8. If you're Montreal, so they're having a bit of a rough time right now.
Okay, yeah, but they play an attractive game. They're scoring goals, but defensively, the issues are still there. So, okay, so let's move on to Sporting Kansas City against the San Jose Earthquakes, and it's great because our next guest plays for Sporting Kansas City.
That's right, he does.
That's lovely. So, Sporting Kansas City wins this game 2-1, and this is good for them. They needed a victory so badly, and they win this game. And the goal, and we'll talk to him about it. But this goal from Benny Feilhaber is just
beast.
He still got it. All right, whoever doubted him. The doubters are wrong.
Yeah.
Everyone who thought it was going to be a shit show, they were all wrong.
Yeah. Well, and everyone did. So we speak to a lot of people. It's a lot of polling we do.
No, the first goal from Chris Wondolowski. Mark Chris Wondolowski, maybe that's probably the good move there.
I feel like if you stay on him, it hurts his chances of scoring, even though he's the goal scoring leader in our league. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of person you might want to mark.
But yes, and the goal from Feilhaber, just incredible, and then the game winning goal from Graham Smith. But the more than any detail in the game, I'm just like happy Sporting Kansas City were able to, especially come win the game after being down. Like, it's easy when your team is in a slump to just be like, all right, well, another L, or we're not going to get 3 points here. But with the level of, and we'll talk about it, but like the injuries and all the other stuff they've been going through, good to see them.
We'll save it for when we talk to them.
Exactly. So, next up we have two more games left. LA Galaxy against Seattle Sounders, and when it comes to hilarious soccer teams, LA Galaxy are really they're out there when it comes to the mistakes that they make.
You also just have no idea who's showing up game to game if you're an LA Galaxy fan.
Sure. Well, you know what? Before we even talk about the game, we haven't talked about Zlatan's comments recently about Major League Soccer, about how he thinks the
playoff system is shit.
The playoff system is shit, and like the quality.
He's just preparing for not making the playoffs if they somehow.
It's a strange. I don't know what psychology exactly he has.
I just think he's one of these people that thinks like, oh well, I mean, I'm Zlatan, I can say whatever I want. And, I bet you a lot of people agree with him. I bet you a lot of players agree with him.
A lot of people do agree with him. And I'm not saying that he is wrong. I just don't understand are you mad at your employer? Are you mad at, the way soccer is in America? This is what was also a little odd, and some people were kind of, and this is sort of normal speak in across, world soccer. But when Christian Pavón signs and he plays his first couple games, they asked Zlatan what he thought. He was like, "Oh, this player, great quality. He's not going to be in MLS very long. You should, fans should enjoy him while they have him because he's too good for this league." And not technically wrong, but
in bad taste.
Only
it's lacking tact.
I'm not saying that he has to respect MLS, but I think he can be an ambassador and be more supportive.
There's another way to spin that.
Yeah, there's a way to make it seem more. Not even he can be more of an ambassador for the growth of American soccer and be like, hey, look, it isn't where it needs to be, but these are the things they can do to fix it.
Here's the kind of players we're now starting to get.
Because the playoff system is realistically the last thing on anybody's mind for the growth of the sport.
But you make a list. Playoff system top of that
not
list.
Even call it shit all you like.
Yeah.
No, but if he did more things that were just positive to help the growth of the sport, like David Beckham, right? David Beckham really kind of I'm trying to put this make the sport a little bit more popular in this country, and by Zlatan's just existence in this league does help, but he could be a little bit nicer about it when it comes to trying to find a way to make the sport more popular.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't like this approach. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, you want to be in Hollywood, be a little bit respectful of what's around you.
Exactly. Is that what you do in Hollywood?
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It sounded right. Listen, I asked everybody.
Look, we work in
and that's what they said.
entertainment. Everyone's kind to us all the time.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know how easy it is to get stuff done in entertainment? So great.
So, but this game ends 2-2. Another team that's kind of in this weird place, Seattle
And
Sounders.
by the way, LA Galaxy, it got a red card in like the 6th minute?
6th minute, Daniel Steres chasing down, I think it was Jordan Morris, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you understand the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Dog so.
And Daniel Steres is no stranger to this. Is like red cards and own goals are like, I think LA Galaxy
They got bonuses.
They get like, I think they train in this particular thing. They're like,
come on, buddy, you got to score on your own goal. You got to keep your goalkeeper on his toes.
You know, Bingham, he seems a little like not focused. All right, so,
That's your job as a defender to get him back.
no, but yes, the red card, unfortunate. You understand it, but it sucks that happened so early in the game. And your homie Robert Sabiga gave him that red card real quick.
You saw him like he's shoving players off of him.
Yeah, when it comes to confident referees, he is very much that. He is just like I think during the penalty call, he was like, stay away, stay away from me, don't do it. You don't want any of this.
You want that smoke?
Yeah. All right, Sabiga got that smoke for you, dog.
Take a puff of that Zabiga cigar. The other thing, he's also top of the list of referees that can't take a joke.
and / hate Alexis Guerreros. So
Get in line.
The obviously LA Galaxy getting a lead in this game is incredible. Down a man, and LA Galaxy are lead the league for crosses because they know who they got there in the box.
Right.
And Zlatan, both goals were from crosses. Right.
Right.
The drawn penalty and the header. But the fact that LA Galaxy is leading in this game, they don't even deserve to even lead for a second in this game. But the fact that
down
they
to 10 men,
it's just straight up. Without Zlatan, this game is a rout. They're not winning this game by any a close margin. But this own goal, and you have to. Who do we blame? Who was it? Romney or I believe it was Romney or no, it was who was the own goal by? Skelvik, Jorgen.
That's right.
So Bingham botches this, right? He runs out. It's a long ball. Jordan Morris is chasing it. David Bingham goes out for it. It hits Bingham, bounces off of Skelvik.
Bounces off his face, but immediately.
Yeah.
There was nothing he could do. He was just running and okay, this guy's got it. Bang! He gets hit in the head. Looks forward, sees the ball rolling towards goal. Tries so hard. Looks like a tuna in the net. Tries so hard to catch it.
Not his fault. Not his fault. But it's just, buddy, Bingham,
buddy, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man? I've never seen you go out for the ball. What? It looked like he was trying to grab the ball, then head the ball, and then I don't know what.
He kind of looked like he fell off the side of a boat. Like his hand kind of flailed up.
Yeah, because I assume he slipped or maybe didn't judge the trajectory of the ball.
Yeah.
But
maybe like the wind.
You're a goalkeeper.
Can we blame the wind?
Nah, man. I understand other players whiffing on this stuff. But
I think worse than that is the miss by Rui Diaz.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
the miss by Zlatan too.
Yeah,
early
Zlatan had a when he went wide, completely open goal. But if you're Rui Diaz, your job is to score. And same thing with Zlatan. And Nico Lodero does exactly what oh, that's right, I said it the right way. Nico Lodero gives it to you literally on a platter, no one in front of you. It takes in one extra step and a touch. He doesn't need to, and then he just bangs it off the keeper's chest. I mean, what are you doing?
Look, misses are going to happen and things it's just we're honestly not used to, especially Zlatan missing that chance from Uriel Antuna, right? Bad. It's a tap in, bro.
Yeah.
You don't. When Zlatan misses, that's when and I understand that he's great, but it's he talks so much trash that it's yo, bro, you're not perfect. You make mistakes often, and you're not necessarily known as the best teammate ever, so it's that's why his whole approach towards how just trashing the league is I don't know, just seems a little bit unnecessary because
it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, and it's it's not that, and it's not he's saying the worst things in the world, but it's just he doesn't. I don't think it's beneficial to him and to the growth of the sport, because I think a big player like that, maybe take it upon yourself to be like, all right, let me
be an
leave,
ambassador.
Let me leave America a little bit like in a better place soccer wise than when I got here.
Yeah, I think you're asking the wrong guy to do that.
Please, Lata, please. Okay, 2 quick ones. RSL.
You've said 2 quick ones for the last 2.
Sorry, these were good games. RSL, LAFC. The LAFC wins this game 2-0 on the road. RSL, good team, especially at home. But LAFC, they went down a man, which you sort of you think, all right, they're gonna get got here. But there was a call. Herrera, who ended up getting red carded later in the game. But there was so there was the handball that they thought that he was red carded, and it didn't end up being a handball.
Yeah.
And he stayed in the game. But then the Walker Zimmerman get his second yellow. The first yellow that he got was an incredibly soft foul, basically nothing.
Right.
Crazy that he got a yellow. And then but the second yellow, you understand.
I mean, it was more of his arm because he moved his leg out of the way in the second one. But yeah, I mean, they were both kind of soft yellows. To me, both of them together equates to 1 yellow.
Yeah, you feel terrible for him.
You know who I feel worse for? Who was the defender that got the red card against Carlos Vela?
Herrera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched this. They showed the slow-mo of the two of them kind of colliding.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Vela comes down elbow first directly into Herrera's crotch.
Ooh.
You know what? Red card is the least of his problems right now. I don't know how he walked away.
Oh, I didn't.
If you watch it, it is gut-wrenching. Like the kind of pain in your gut that slides up as it goes on. It is so painful. He literally goes like elbow and then rubs like his whole body. If I did that to someone, they'd be sterile. You know what I mean?
I mean, they pay you a lot of money, I think.
Yeah. Send me a picture of your elbow.
So, but the fact that this game, the red card from RSL really had a good opportunity here, but LAFC, even down a man, they don't slow down. That's how good they are.
They just don't seem like they're actually down a guy. They're like, no, we have a plan for this.
Yeah, it's so that was impressive. And again, it just kind of reinforces that belief that like LAFC is going to either make it to the MLS Cup final, maybe win it, or kind of run through the playoffs. Because RSL, we saw them play against NYCFC just a couple of weeks ago. NYCFC struggled. They put teams to work out there in the higher altitude, whatever. But LAFC handled that well, and it was because I'm loving this rivalry because of the games. It was the opening game, LAFC's opening game, and I believe this year was against RSL, and then in the playoffs, RSL knocked them out of the playoffs.
Right.
So there's that's clearly on everybody's on the LFC.
Seems like one of those teams that they like to beat.
Yeah, and they like slightly kind of don't like each other.
Yeah,
and it's nice. Kind of nice to see. I love that these new rivalries kind of like organically happen, especially when it comes to those playoff battles and those memories like double post between Portland and Sporting Kansas City. It's just like I say double post and everyone knows what I'm talking about.
And those are legends that are created.
Yeah, so it's great. And then last game, Atlanta United against Portland Timbers. This game, another incredible game. Atlanta United wins this game 2-0. And so there were a couple. So the main thing I wanted to talk about in this game was the who was it that fouled? There was a card given on Peter Martinez. Peter Martinez got fouled in the box by Bill Tulioma.
It created a bit of a storm on social media as well.
This happened, I forgot what minute. I believe it's in the first or second half. Somewhere early in the second half, I think. I don't remember. But this was a stone cold red card and penalty to me. I don't understand.
I don't know how he didn't get a red card.
I'm watching this game and I'm like, this is clearly a red. The VAR is going to get involved. Like, maybe the
VAR's like, oh no, baby, I got you. And apparently not.
This couldn't have been any more wrong. This was really, really bad. He did not touch the ball. And he went through the player.
Beatty gets called. Like, I know there was all this talk about the 92.9 said that, they called someone on extra time an idiot because they said
Mike Conti. Shout out to you, Mike Conti.
Mike Conti.
Flaming extra time.
Said, said that, he cries wolf.
Yes.
Beatty cries wolf. I don't see him as that he is a little bit of the kind of player that will embellish when he gets touched. I don't see him as the guy who's like constantly falling over and trying to get people cards drawn. A little bit, but not that much.
He's not like a huge like the shithousery that we're used to seeing from Argentinian players. Right. He's not that, but he's like...
no Tati Castellano.
That's exactly who I was going to point.
Castellanos or whatever.
He is not Tati. Tati is,
every second.
He learned it. He was diving. I always say he came out diving out of the womb.
Yeah, he rolled holding his knee out.
Like, give my mother a rest, dog.
She's out of the game. She just had the baby.
So that was absurd.
Yeah.
And who was the referee in this game? Because they pointed out that he was the referee because the referee that was scheduled for the game was stuck in traffic. So they took, I think, the fourth official and made him the center referee. So it was just like, at first I'm like, oh, that's probably nothing. I'm sure
it won't affect the game
totally
in any way, shape, or form.
But this was and not to say that the game was totally like poorly refereed. There were a lot of fouls, and then maybe
some people are just a bit more, have an aptitude for holding up a sign with numbers on it.
So that was, look, Atlanta, they win, the Campeones Cup, and it's pretty much the same lineup. It's like, a lot of these they played 90 minutes a couple days prior, and they looked sharp. And we didn't talk about Darlington Nagbe in the Campeones Cup, but he was
great.
He was stellar.
Yeah.
And I like, I love how quickly this stuff happens. It's like, Nagbe kind of hasn't he's fell out of favor with Greg Berhalter. He hasn't really gotten that much love. And, he's been having a couple good games. And it is, we remember him because he was involved in the U.S. not making the men's national team, not making the World Cup.
Well, you also remember like that double tap-up goal he scored when he was at Timbers. The kids had some like those magical moments, but it seems like what his best talent is. But if
I was putting a team together, like Darlington Nagbe is one of the first players I would sign.
Would you send the PJ for him like Atlanta did?
Well, look, not only he's not. He's not even that flashy for a private jet. You know what I mean? The dude is just like, he does the work. He has a simple game, and you can't get the ball from him.
No.
He just does not really make any mistakes like that.
Also, shouts to Joseph Martinez for having an interview in English.
That's right.
Wow.
Well done with Katie with him. He was just like straight up doing it. That was great.
He was like everyone's uncle, trying to talk to your white girlfriend. Yeah, okay. So I did go, and the thing.
It's great because we see it in.
The thing important.
And
we want to win.
I'll give credit to, Latin soccer players compared to like Latin baseball players. Baseball players give the minimal effort when it comes to.
They could give a shit about learning. They're like, I'm going to be here for 3 years. I go home with my money. Unless somebody shoot me in the back, and then I come back.
Exactly. And that was the strangest, Big Papi interview I've ever seen. So again, Atlanta seems to be on the tail now in first place in the Eastern Conference. Philly Union losing to Chicago Fire 2-0 they were upper man for almost a whole half. So like more than a half. So unfortunate Philly Union. I think they have Atlanta has a game in hand on Philly, and I think NYCFC has 2 games in hand.
NYCFC is at 24 games played. Philly Union's at 27.
Okay, so
Atlanta's at 26, so they even have a game in hand.
Okay, so with the Eastern Conference is looking, it's the only one where things are really moving, right?
Yeah.
Because at least LAFC got it.
We also didn't talk about Minnesota United being in second place in the West. I mean, that is out of nowhere.
Incredible.
I thought I had this thing upside down. I was like, nah, man, something wrong.
Give Adrian Heath a new contract. He's earned it. All right, guys. So that is that for segment.
Yes. Why don't we take a break and then we'll talk to Benny Feilhaber.
Feilhaber on the show. You'd love to see it.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after this. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We've got a word from one of our sponsors, us,
the Cooligans, you, Gully Squad.
Shouts to all the newest members of Gully Squad. We're really building up these ranks.
That's right. Thank you for the support. I know it's a big deal. Who wants to support a podcast?
Ugh.
I'd rather throw money at strippers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but still.
That's not. Some people think that way. Alexis.
I know. I don't. It's a real shame. When we will show you our feet. Okay, so why would you do
that? Is a Gully Squad perk.
Yeah, that's right. Next time somebody asks me for a picture of my feet, I'll be like, join Gully Squad. So, shouts to all the Gully Squad members. You guys are doing an absolutely amazing job. The group that may or may not exist.
The Facebook group that may or may not exist.
It may or may not be one of the littiest groups ever.
Exactly. That might be the place where people get the opportunity to ask us questions for like our listener question episodes.
You're about to hear an interview where we got some questions from Gully Squad.
If you want to ask, some of the Gully Squad members are the ones who know what guest is going to be on.
That's right.
Beforehand, and they get the opportunity to ask the guests some questions.
They have about as much power as Barra Bravas do in Latin America, where they influence what happens on our show. Okay,
so basically, the Gully Squad members have been threatening us since day one.
Yeah, they doxed us and they're sending packages to our place. But shouts to all the Gully Squad members. If you want to join Gully Squad, it tremendously. All of that money goes right back into the show. It's what helps us get to cities so we could do interviews, and it helps us get to events, and it helps us put on more stuff. It helps us get stuff edited for you guys, more content for you. All of this money goes right back into the show. All you have to do is go to soccercooligans.com/Gully Squad, or just go to soccercooligans.com, and right up at the top you'll see Join Gully Squad. Put in whatever you can. It's absolute honor that you would even do this for us, and we absolutely love it, and we use it. This is what we use it for.
Exactly. So we appreciate the support. Thank you to everyone who has already joined. We love you guys. So hop on, get on board.
Yeah, get on the Gully Squad train.
Get on this movement. Choo-choo.
Come on, ride that train and Gully. Yeah, baby, we're back.
Yes, and it's always a pleasure to have any guests, and then but I feel like week after week, it's just like we're like sort of outdoing each other.
We're leveling up.
Exactly.
This guest almost feels like we scored an amazing volley against Mexico. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna take credit for that goal.
It's 100% ours. But ladies and gentlemen, unless you're driving, put your hands together for the one, the only, the star, if you will, of Sporting Kansas City. Put your hands together for Benny Feilhaber, everybody.
Hey, Benny, how's it going, man?
Thanks for having me on, guys. This is it's quite an experience being on your show.
Thank you.
That's an honor. Look, I don't even know if you knew who we were before right now, but if you did, that's very incredibly flattering.
Let's just pretend he did.
Oh, there goes the light. Let me turn the light back on.
Immediately, as soon as he said you didn't know who we were, he's gone.
I thought it was, I thought it was like technical difficulties on our side, but apparently,
Benny Feilhaber has smoke bombs.
Something's up.
I'm in our meeting room, and I guess it's sensory or something. So I'll stay close to the sensor here.
All right, cool. That's hilarious. It's we need to work on Swope Park Village. They need to fix a couple of the electrician.
We'll talk to electricians.
So, I mean, Benny, why don't to start? I mean, you've played for a couple different teams. You've been around this country a little bit. You've played for the national team. I guess just where the fans have definitely heard of you. They've chanted your name. Sometimes probably not in with a loving tone. So why don't you just kind of give the fans an idea of what the season has been like for you back Sporting Kansas City and how that feels?
Well, the season's been tough. I mean, it started off in Colorado, and I went there as a free agent. A lot of changes in the offseason for Colorado, and I expected to have a pretty competitive team there. And so I decided to go there and kind of start something fresh. And it was very tough first 10 games. We didn't win any of the games. I think we drew 2 and lost 8. And it didn't look like it was going in the right direction. And me being kind of close to the end of my career, I wanted to try and find somewhere where I could play on a competitive team. And so Kansas City was interested with some of the injuries that they had, and they were able to, get a trade for me. And so I came back here, was excited, a lot of good memories here, a lot of good years here, and a lot of good friends that, we had been really successful with. And so came back here, and it's been tough here too. This year hasn't been easy. They were in Champions League before, a lot of injuries, a lot of tired bodies after an early start, and we've seen it happen before with teams in the past. And so it's been a grind. We're still trying to fight it out and see if we can scrape some results to try and get in the playoffs, but obviously not going to be easy here with the last 8 games.
When it comes to those moves, right? But that player movement, I heard you talking to Taylor Rockwell on Total Soccer Show, which was a great interview that you did, and you had mentioned basically the strain of moving your family and all these things and not knowing exactly where you were going to be, but moving from Colorado to Sporting Kansas City. How much was it sort of in your control? Because you had mentioned like the difficulty with player movement within MLS.
Yeah, player movement in MLS is tough because most of the times the player has no say in where they're going, a lot of times. And so for me, it was a bit different. I had spoken to the GM in Colorado and he understood my situation. And I explained to him how I, wanted to play for a competitive team. And unfortunately, Colorado wasn't that at the time. And he understood that. And he kind of helped me find a place where I would be happy. I didn't know that Kansas City was going to be a team that was interested, but thankfully they were. And, my family was here for 5 years. Both of our daughters were born here, and we know how awesome it is to grow a family here. And so it was not, any kind of hardship for my family. It was something that I was seeking, and we were very happy that it happened. So it was a very big positive for us this season.
Also, let it be noted that if you trade Benny Feilhaber, you will get the plague, right? You get some of that Brazilian curse.
when I saw that tweet by Colorado Rapids that the plague was in Commerce City, I had to, text some of my friends back in Colorado and asking what the hell is going on over there.
Yeah. How did you guys find a time portal to 1452? How is that possible?
Frogs jumping out of the sky and stuff. I don't know what's going on.
I remember when I read that, I was like, which plague are they talking? The plague? Like bubonic? Like, what are we talking about here? But so you've played in a bunch of different places. You've always been someone that I've sort of recognized as somewhat of a creative midfielder, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the one thing that one of your skill sets or something about you that has been overlooked by a lot of coaches?
Overlooked? I don't know.
His beauty.
I mean,
yeah, I think most people see that. Although with the years I'm accruing here, it's starting to fade a little bit. I need to become the silver fox, like with the George Clooney look. So We'll see if that comes. But I would say I've always thought that I'm a very good one-on-one defender, and most people don't see that. And so maybe you guys will notice it now. Whenever there's one guy, setting up to try and dribble me, I try and take a lot of pride in not allowing that to happen. So I've told Ike before, and we've had arguments on BS the podcast as well, of me converting to center back, and I think I could be a good center back in this league, but most people don't believe me. Yeah, we'll see if I ever get a chance.
Just give Matt Beasler a noogie and be like, hey, I'll show you how it's done, buddy.
Yo, Bees, step aside, my guy. Go ahead.
So I was gonna ask. So this is one of our questions from our Gully Squad members, right? One of our bigger fans. So Michael Samela, he's a Colorado Rapids fan, right? And he asked, what was it like playing for Anthony Hudson? And he asked, was he as bad as he seemed?
And I really liked Anthony as a person. I thought he's a workaholic. He tries to do everything to fix the team, to fix us tactically. It just literally none of his ideas were clicking with our group. I don't know if it was the players that he had didn't really fit into the system that he was trying to implement, but it didn't work. And he tried to change things, and literally I bet this guy would not sleep at night. He would watch game tape over and over and over again. In preseason, I could hear he was the room above us, and I could hear him at nighttime listening to game tape. And so, as a coach for us, it didn't work. Obviously, the results show that, and it wasn't any better on the training field. It was difficult. It was hard. All the players were frustrated by it. I know that he was frustrated by it, but at the same time, I've seen him be successful in other places. Like in New Zealand, he was successful, and so it just didn't work out in Colorado. It wasn't something that was pretty in any way. I think he would agree with that as well. And for that reason, I think that's why the team team, and he moved on.
For those of us who've never played, and you've seen what we look like, so we never played. For those of us who never played, and for our fans who've never played professional soccer, how much of it is it sort of like this lightning in a bottle, where the type of inspirational, talks, the tactics, the training, the players being prepared for it, and all of those things sort of have to merge in order for you to be able to win a championship? Is that what it is, or is there something else that can sway it? Is it this thing where sort of it has to all fit in magically?
First of all, I don't think it has. I think the talks, the motivational talks, are almost 0% in my opinion. But having said all that, what you asked, I think yes, I think it to some degree it is in MLS, lightning in a bottle. If you go to some other leagues, there's a reason why Bayern Munich wins Bundesliga all the time, and why Man City or Liverpool are winning at this, in Premier League the last few years. They've got the best players. They probably have some of the top coaches in the world, and the talent speaks for itself. In MLS, it's different. There's a cap, so there's not one team that's going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars more than all the other teams, and so there is a sense of a little bit of lightning in a bottle, where even more so with the playoff system, that a team playing well at the time that has, like you said, the right tactical approach with the players that they have, certain players playing at their highest level at the time, the team playing with confidence. And so all those things, I think, make a big, big difference when it comes down to it in MLS.
I'm curious. We had another question from, I believe is I think a Galaxy fan, if I'm not mistaken. But your time at LAFC was that first year. Obviously, it's an incredibly entertaining team. I know it didn't work out at the end of your tenure there. But I'm curious. Your time at LAFC, how do you kind of look back on it? And Art Moreno asked, what was the feeling like being a part of that first at Trafico?
I look at it very fondly. My first year, or my only year there, and the first year for the franchise, I thought we were a very good team with a lot of good players. You could see that the team was only going to improve under Bob, under the players that were there. And obviously we see the results of it this season. The fan base, I don't even know how that fan base got built so quickly. And there's so much, pride in the stands and, love for the team, for a team that, has been around for a year and a half. And so it's pretty amazing. The whole, you can't say one bad thing about the entire organization. So it was awesome to be part of that. And I still watch a lot of their games because I know, all the players, and it's an exciting brand of soccer to watch. And so, everything there was awesome. In terms of the El Trafico, the first one was very painful. We started off the season really well with 2 wins on the road. We come to El Trafico and at StubHub, or whatever it's called now. It was StubHub back last year.
Dignity Health Sports Park.
Dignity Health, yeah, exactly. And so we have probably 3,000 fans in the stands before the game starts, when we go out to look at the field an hour before the game, before warm-ups. And it was incredible. We could only hear our fans. And we go out there and we destroyed them the first half. We're up 2-0. We get a third goal in the beginning of the second half. I mean, it feels like we're cruising, right? Everything's going well for our team. About to have 9 points in the first 3 road games of the year. And then, all hell breaks loose. I lost the ball in the midfield. They get 1. Our team starts to, get nervous, lose our confidence a little bit. I think the fact that we didn't have an identity, established yet, because we're such a young team, we kind of didn't know how to maintain that result. And ultimately we succumbed to Zlatan, and so he comes on, scores that ridiculous goal, and eventually gets the 4th one at the end. And so it was a moment that I'm sure they still look back on and try and use it as not only motivation, but a stepping stone to learn how to deal with games. And I think they've done a much better job this year. But it's one that I think for the benefit of the league and the rivalry, I think it was fantastic, but it hurts obviously being part of an LAFC member.
Was it on your mind that Zlatan's about to get in this game and this is going to be some sort of moment, or, I'm going to have to handle this giant?
Or do you whisper to Zimmerman his knees are weak, dude? You know,
but his knees aren't weak. his legs are tree trunks. So I don't even think he can do that. But yeah, I remember us going up 3-0, and obviously we knew Zlatan was on the bench, and we're thinking at 3-0, this guy might not even come in, which is perfect. We don't even have to deal with him the first game, right? Let him settle into the league. We can kind of see what he does in other games. We don't have to be the first team, like the guinea pig, to have him, debut against us. And then when we gave up the first goal, I remember thinking, I was like, damn it, we gave up that. I lost the ball. We gave up that goal, and now it's almost guaranteed he's coming in this game, and we're gonna have to deal with whatever he brings on. And so, we brought it on ourselves. It was unfortunate, but yeah, it was a moment where we were hoping we didn't have to deal with him, and we had to in a big way.
All right.
Speaking of all the different places where you've played, let's talk a little bit about where you lived. You grew up in Rio de Janeiro, right? A few years, and then you moved to the greatest place on earth, New York. Right?
That's right. But I lived outside the city. But
you were in Scarsdale.
Yeah.
For 8 years. Did you pick up any accent?
3 years. 3 years.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Somebody needs to update your Wikipedia, my guy.
Oh, well, I don't touch Wikipedia, but I always notice this. There's some weird things in there. I know there's a thing that said that I was like part of some government in Denmark, like city council, something like that.
That's hilarious.
Was I?
Yeah.
Was I a part of the city?
It's on my business card now. I don't know what to tell you.
You're speaking to Senator Feilhaber. Have some respect.
Amazing.
But yeah, I lived in Scarsdale for 3 years. It was from 6 till I was 9. So it was a good time. I loved it there. It was, I played a lot of soccer. It was the first time I started playing soccer on a field pitch, because in Brazil I played futsal. And so, I loved it there. Made a lot of friends. Was the best player on my elementary school. It was a lot of fun.
All right. I want to talk about your podcast, but before that, I want to talk a little bit about Sporting Kansas City. What's the sentiment like? How are things feeling? I know the beginning of the season felt incredible, right? Obviously, in Champions League, and then yes, you mentioned the injuries, and I feel like they kind of brought in Benny to like kind of right the ship, right? What is the feeling now? Because you have a game coming up against your buddy Ike Opara this week, and then you just had a great win over the weekend. With an insane goal. What a great time to have Benny Feilhaber on this show, because
this is what we do. When we message you to come on the show, you score golazos.
So it gives you that confidence. But what's it? Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, and we had Wando on right before we played him as well, and he scored. So just whoever comes on the show for us and for you guys is going to score goals.
So reach out to either one of us if you want to come on the show.
You just got to be careful, because if you get them on your show and then they score against you, that's not Vermees is not going to be happy about that.
No, we got to stop asking guys that we're playing against.
Yeah, Vermees is going to start to produce your podcast just to make sure.
But what's been the feeling like for Sporting Kansas City and trying to get into the playoffs and trying to kind of fix what's been going on?
Yeah, it's been tough, and I mean, it's like we said, just with the best teams in the league, it's sometimes a little bit of lightning in a bottle where you can find that good balance of everything, and we're trying to find that. And right now, it's the opposite. We get a good result, then we get a bad result. We fight through something, win on the road, then we come home and we lose a big game at home. So we haven't been able to overcome some of the problems that we faced in the beginning of the year with injuries and fatigue. And now we're just trying to, get back to the kind of team that we know we can be and get that confidence back. I think that's the biggest thing. Knowing, when you have that confidence, you just know you're going into a game, and regardless if you make a mistake, you're going to win the game. You're going to come back and you're going to make something happen. You're going to score a goal. If somebody makes a mistake, somebody's going to, Tim is going to save us in the back, or Beasler or whatever. And so right now it just feels like every mistake we make leads to a goal, and all the chances that we create somehow don't go in. And then when something goes well, like San Jose, we fight through the second half, we come back and win 2-1. We just hope we can complement it with another win against Minnesota. Other than that, we don't have a some golden secret rule that we can come up with to fix our problems. It's just continue to grind, work, and try and make something happen on the game days.
Just realistically, like watching Sporting Kansas City, I'm not the last couple of years, I'm just like, I'm not used to watching you guys struggle. You know what I mean? Like to go through these spells. So that's been like
it's been so consistent.
Yeah. So that
right.
out of any word to describe Sporting Kansas City, consistent is like the one that comes to mind. So it's like I feel bad when they struggle because I'm like, I don't want to see this.
Especially because we have friends that are fans of the team. We're like, come on.
And plus, we had Matt Beasler and Seth Sinovic on the show talking about the clothing line. So clearly,
that's right.
Everybody involved in Sporting Kansas City has a nice side hustle, right? Yeah. Benny's getting into the podcast game.
Speaking of side hustle, Benny's in a podcast game. He's trying to come up in our lane. Right? Okay. We're going to show him we're good one-on-one defenders. Okay.
No, we're on the same team. You guys got to assist us. That's what we got to do.
Okay,
that's it. All right, we'll do that.
No, but the BS the podcast, which is great, and I love that Ike Opara's on the show, and like he's not in the title of the show. He is just
he is not in the acronym of the show because I feel like IBS might not be that great.
That's a podcast I listen to.
Yes,
but so we have him now. We have BS the podcast featuring Ike Opara. So we're getting there. He's as long as we keep him satisfied, we know he's an important part of the show.
No, it's great to see. But it is before we got on air, we were talking about like how cool it is to see. There's something you can get from players talking to each other that you can't get from like a journalist or anybody. There's a locker.
Yeah, because y'all keep it tight when we ask you questions.
Yo, what's up with that, man?
I know y'all got to be mad political. You get it. You're in the government in Germany.
I'm not political, dude. I'll give you most of the answers. If I can't answer it, I'll tell you otherwise. But I'm not one of those political types.
Yeah, you're a little different, but it is fun to see you and other players interact because you guys. It's almost like when comedians talk to each other. It's different than when anybody talks to a comedian because we kind of all get it. We've been through the grind. We understand what we're going through. You guys do the same thing. So give the fans just a little bit of an idea of what kind of conversations you'd like to have on your show.
Yeah, our conversations are wide open. If you've ever seen The Shop with, LeBron James produced show where people are just sitting around, we're talking, we're having a good time, we're asking questions about our guest's career or their season, and it's very open and very not formal. And the production value is not the greatest, but I think that goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do. So we just have a lot of fun, and it's been really cool seeing the kind of feedback that we've gotten and also the kind of conversations that we've had with guys that we like around the league.
Is there any particular episode or story that stands out that you want people to listen to? Because I know when I heard the Patrick Vieira story from Sean Johnson, that was hilarious. I just love the absolute pettiness of because especially coaches have to like be like, oh, we're this. When I think of Peter Vermees, I think of
stoic,
army general. Right. So I'm sure there's other moments that where people show a lot more vulnerability. But is there any episode in particular of maybe a story that you heard from somebody that you were like, oh, I'm glad I'm doing this podcast?
Yeah, there's been a few of those. I think the Wando episode was awesome. He actually told probably 2 or 3 stories that I had never heard before that were fantastic. One about him kicking balls at the Raider game, and he might have been a little bit tipsy after I don't know how many beers in the stands.
Oh, sure.
And he was knocking these footballs through from 50 yards, but I guess once they gave him a soccer ball to boot in the stands, he almost hit a sideline reporter. So
hilarious.
That was pretty amazing. And then we just had our.
Did you say Kaku did that or?
Yeah, Kaku actually did do that. So I think I don't know if we could talk about that because I'm pretty sure there's some
lawsuit,
litigation pending.
But we actually just interviewed Carlos Vela last night, and that's going to drop tomorrow morning. And I think some of the fans will really be interested to see the stories that he talks about with the national team, with LAFC, with some of his previous clubs, Arsenal, and so it was really fun talking to him.
He's just talking about how much he hates soccer and loves basketball. Yeah. What a strange man.
he 20 minutes of hair product. He doesn't hate soccer, but he does love basketball. That's for sure.
It's such a strange thing, but it's great to see, man. The podcast is very fun, so people should listen to it. What is you say you're done with your career? What is is this the game you want to get into? This media sort of style, this like kind of loose, like in-depth player MLS kind of access?
I'm not sure yet. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think for sure I'm staying within the game. I love, soccer ever since I was a little kid. I've loved playing it. I've loved being around it. So when I'm done, I think I'll try and test the waters a little bit, whether it be trying to be a coach or GM in the league. I think for the most part, I'd like to be closer to the game because I'm so competitive. But I do think that the media aspect of it, whether I'm, doing podcasts or being a commentator on TV, is something that I could see myself getting into as well.
Well, I'll give you a bit of I guess like a positive. We speak to a lot of players. Not many of them have the personality you have. So if you want to get in media, not that we're gatekeepers in any way, shape, or form, but I think if anyone, you should have a microphone. And please don't get into comedy. I know you have to run. I want one last question. This is from Nick Lageman, who's one of our Gully Squad members. He wants me to ask you if you're okay with barbecue on pizza, and I want you to recall the time in which you lived in the New York vicinity, okay? And know that you have a lot riding on this, including any future German political career. Barbecue on pizza, is that okay?
Barbecue on pizza? I don't even know what that means.
Thank you. That's a good answer.
Okay,
we'll take it. I don't know if they mean barbecue sauce or barbecue.
I love chicken barbecue pizza. I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, that actually just offended me. All right, so. Well, Nick, you got the answer. I'm crying. I'm glad. Where can people follow you and where can people find the podcast?
The podcast is on Apple Podcasts. BS the Podcast is the name of it. You can find it on YouTube as well. We'll put the videos up, and then follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. We'll always put little video clips up as well. And Spotify, all the platforms you can pretty much find our podcast on.
All right. Benny, well, best of luck at the game on Thursday. Is it home or away?
It's at home, so Ike's coming to town.
Okay, so hopefully he gets a nice little applause during introductions, but then he is viciously booed for the rest of the game.
I'm hoping he doesn't even play because they got an Open Cup game coming up. It'd be nice if he just sat on the bench.
Okay,
yeah, take it easy.
Exactly. Work on bits for the podcast.
Right.
Well, Benny, best of luck in the game and best of luck for the rest of the season. We hope Sporting Kansas City rights the ship and makes it to the playoffs. It'll be a shame to not have Sporting Kansas City in the playoffs. So I wish you guys the best.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, man.
All right, Benny.
All right, good.
All good. You can hang up and get back. You get to lunch or training or meeting, whatever you got to do, man. Thank you so much for taking.
What a great interview, Benny, Fenny Feilhaber.
Fenny Wap.
Maybe he knows Gucci Gonzalez.
All right, good. Alexis, as you see, if you're a new listener, not good with words.
It's not a strong point of mine.
Word, letters,
reading it, writing it,
numbers,
speaking.
So that's what I'm here. Okay. So. Benny Feilhaber, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Great dude, super fun. I like, especially, we always say this, like the MLS players that have been around the league a little bit, been around the block.
Yeah,
they're just like down to earth, cool, fun, have stories. They get it.
They get it.
So I'm glad we could get him on the show and
listen to his podcast.
Yeah, listen to BS. The podcast is great.
And we've been saying his podcast is BS. Remember that we were saying that privately.
Day one.
So it's just the name.
As soon as they created the Twitter account, we're like, "Yo, this is BS.
This is garbage." No, it's great. It's an absolute great listen.
And we have spoken to his co-hosts, Ike Opara and Sal Ziza, who have expressed interest in doing the show.
Oh, well, come on.
So we might have the whole BS crew out here.
All right. Our show's got nothing but BS on it.
That's right. Top to bottom, BS. Right. Well, yo, what's that smell? Yeah, that's BS.
Good question. Fenny Feilhaber was just here.
So again, thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Thank you all the new listeners. Shout out to Casey for the love.
To Casey.
Yeah, man, you're our hero, man. Thank you so much.
You a real G, guy.
Exactly. So with that said, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerrero.
And together, what are we?
The Cooligans!